Happy Sunday, everyone. Dan here. It's good to have you here tonight. I saw all of you earlier today doing the Elysium stress test, number 3. That was a lot of fun. And we got a announced date for when they're launching with that. We got a lot of great information. We saw the servers go from, this is barely functional, to holy shit, this feels live. All in the matter of a few hours. Incredibly amazed with what the Elysium and Stellaris folks have done. Thank you for once again bringing legacy hopes to us with that. So great times today. The third stress test went incredibly well. December 17th, the PvP server launches. The PvP server is going to be in the same time frame, but I don't really care about that. The PvP server is what matters to me. I have my 58 torrent on there. I'll be playing that up until the Fresh Start launch. They haven't said exactly when Fresh Start is going to happen. Originally, they said 3 to 4 weeks after the PvP server launches. We'll see. We'll see. I don't want to hold them to that time frame because that was said a while ago, up to a couple weeks ago. So maybe that's changed. Maybe their plans have altered. We don't know exactly when the Fresh Start server is going to launch, but we do know when that PvP server is going to happen. I'll be looking forward to that. There's a lot to go through with this video, so I'm going to try and keep this tight and clean. Beyond the actual stress test itself, and the fact that we know how we're going to be moving forward, we can now do a little more planning for our guild itself. Now, we're still voting on the name. Now, let's go ahead and look at some of that information we have. Looking over here, we have, first off, the Elysium website. If you haven't gone to this website yet, please make sure you're looking through this. As you can see, that's their release date announcement. They haven't announced Elysium PvP, which is their Fresh Start server. However, hopefully soon here. Hopefully very soon here. With that being said, for guild activities, for how we're organizing ourselves, the first thing I want to make sure everyone is reminded of is get in our Discord server. I'm going to bring it over here real quick so people can see. As you can see, there we go. There's a lot of people talking about everything that's going on with the Legacy WoW stuff. There's a lot of people excited. Look at all these wonderful folks in here. I am so incredibly excited for what we are going to work on and accomplish as a guild. So make sure you're getting in Discord. In addition, we have the final poll, and this is the results so far for the final poll for what our guild name is going to be. Death by Nostalgia is up in top. Emissaries of Ragnarok in second. Your Mother's a Horde is in third. Very classy. And then Republic of Dan and Azerothian Scientists are behind. I'm a fan of the Republic of Dan, but that's just me. Maybe that's just me. That's fine. That's okay. In addition, we do have a charter available now. And I worked on this the other night, trying to go through exactly why we're making this guild in the first place. Because I don't simply want this to be a guild of, hey, we're all here. Okay. I don't want that. I absolutely do not want that to happen. I want us to have a purpose. So this, what we're looking at here, is our purpose. And this is actually going to be posted both in the description below and in Discord for everyone to look over. Please make sure you accept and agree with it rather. Because if you don't, I want to know. I want to make sure you feel comfortable with the guild. This isn't anything crazy. It's 2 pages. And a lot of this bottom stuff I'm just putting here for simple structure to make sure this is where it's going to go. For example, I have these specific officers, and we'll talk about that here in a moment. But just 3 basic rules for the guild. No racism, sexism, or hate speech. No unfound representation, and I go into what that is. Essentially, don't lie about others. And then third is respect. Respect is a big thing for me. It's a little murky, a little vague, and I go into specific detail in the actual guild rules and description. But other than that, it simply says what we're about. So please take some time to look over this if you are going to be participating with us. I know there's a lot of you, so please don't be afraid to share your thoughts in the Discord server. That's important. It's very important. Now, for the officer corps, I did finally decide on what our officer corps is going to be. I'm not going to have any more officers than this. I want this to be a very user-friendly guild where there's just a small core of officers who maintain a lot of the primary functions, and the rest of the guild functions on its own, or rather is allowed to function on its own. So this is going to be pretty important. I'll be guild lead in this. I'm going to be picking a second in command and a recruitment officer. And then after that, tank, heal, range DPS, melee DPS leads. Those will be the 4 spec officers almost, and they'll be working a lot with the individual players. That'll be very important to keep in mind. In addition, and I know I'm going way over time, I do want to keep a list of active guilds we feel should be represented in a larger community sense. Now, current active guild alliances isn't necessarily guilds that have agreed to work with us, but guilds we believe deserve the respect and decency that our own guildmates also deserve. These are people that stand up for the same values and the same everyday common sense, as one might say, that we do. Not the best way to put it, but you get the idea. And this is a living document, of course. It'll be updated very regularly. And it's kind of like a primary focal point for the group. And I might be taking it too seriously, but for now, this is what we're focusing on. In addition, and this will be the final thing I talk about here, we do have a post up here on the Elysium Project forums. If you're going to participate with us, there's a lot of stuff here. If you're going to participate with us in the guild, as a part of our guild, whatever we choose for the guild name, I want you to go and post over here. You're posting specifically any thoughts you have about what we should do with the guild, your race, class, and spec, if you've chosen those things. If you've only chosen race, or only chosen race and class, or if you've only chosen class and spec, or if you've only chosen class at all, that's fine. Then just post that. I'm trying to get a tally of who and what we have available, because with the different polls, we could have as many as 80 or 90 people joining us, and I don't think that's a real number. So, the primary purpose of this is to get a little bit of a count, like a head count of what we have going into the fresh start. And that'll be going, for God knows how long. In addition, this is technically a recruitment thread, and I don't mind saying that. I like people to know this is going to be a very active, healthy part of the Elysium PvP server lifestyle, the culture, if you will. So, the second purpose of this thread, keep it bumped up so other people can see that, hey, this is a healthy guild. This is a guild that supports itself, supports each other, supports other guilds, because we're not going to be trying to compete with other guilds. We're going to be trying to work with other guilds to make sure the Horde dominates on Elysium PvP. No questions asked. I don't accept anything less than the best when it comes to our faction. And working together with other guilds to make sure that happens is going to be one of our primary goals. In fact, I do talk about that to a certain extent in our guild charter, in cooperation. So, and I have a spelling mistake. I thought I cleaned that up. Point being, post on this thread. Talk about where you're going to roll. It gives us a good idea of who we have going into this, how we're going to be organizing our groups for early on leveling, who's going to be in what starting zone, things like that. Finally, a couple videos I have coming up here, and this is just one of the specs I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be doing a series on different specs and different talent trees, different classes, talking about everything you can do in vanilla, because there was some crazy shit you could pull. Now, you're probably looking at this and saying, well, okay, it's a dual-wield Fury Warrior, duh, whatever. No, this is a two-handed Fury Warrior. This is Slam spec here that we're looking at. I'm not going to talk about it now, though. I'm not going to talk about it now. This is for a future video. I'm actually very excited to talk about this because not a lot of people knew this existed. Trust me on this, though. It gets funny. And it gets incredibly mind-blowing. I love it. With that being said, thank you to everything that the Elysium and Stalia staff have done. You have brought back our vanilla and legacy gaming hopes. And congratulations on a successful test. This has been already more exciting than I thought it would be. And without question, am I going to participate. We're going to keep streaming on this YouTube channel actively on a very regular basis. We're going to keep talking about it in Discord. We're going to keep talking about it on Twitter. And we're going to make sure Blizzard knows that they made a mistake when they didn't support legacy gaming content. We know exactly what we want, and we will not back down under any circumstances. Thank you, R&D community, as well as the Elysium community, for welcoming us. It's going to be a fun adventure getting to participate with everyone. Look forward to another update here in the next 2 weeks when it gets closer to the PvP server launch, as well as regular videos on different classes, specializations, and a few other things, and live streams, as I mentioned, from mostly Chronos 2. That's where I have some characters, but as soon as the Elysium PvP, or rather the Nostalrius PvP server comes out, I'm going to be switching over there. 58 Warrior is going to be ready to go, arm spec, dominating in Alterac Valley. Look forward to that. Have a great day, guys. I've been Dan, and this has been youtube.com/The Rob and Dan Show, I think. It's not twitch.com/The Rob and Dan Show. It's YouTube. Thank you, everyone, for your support, and I will see you on the battlegrounds.